See how fast we go.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the March 13th, 2019 meeting of the Ascension Parish Planning Commission. All members are present with the exception of Mr. Furman. Would everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we get staff introductions?
Stacy Webb, Secretary for the Planning Commission.
Cody Martin, the Attorney for the Planning Commission.
Jerome Fournier, Director of Planning and Development.
Eric Bochet, Parish Planner.
Move on to item number 5 is the chairman's comments. The chair has no comments tonight. Item number 6 is a public comment on any agenda item. We have just a few public hearings tonight, but if you'd like to speak on any other item that's on the agenda where there won't be a public hearing, now is your time to do so. Ms. Stacy, has anyone signed up to speak? All right, we will move on from that. Item number 8 is the staff report, staff on the subdivisions.
Yeah, I'll let Eric talk about the subdivisions just very briefly. On the CPEC study, I know it's not on the agenda, but I just want to give you an update on that, is that on April 9th, we're going to have a stakeholder committee meeting, and on, let's see, open houses April 30th and May 1st, and then hopefully we'll have a briefing to the Planning Commission on May 8th, and on Planning Commission hearing to actually move on the plan. We hope to have a special meeting May 22nd, and then after that we'll bring the plan to the council in June. Right.
The subdivision list, I put a note at the bottom that an asterisk will denote a change from a previous month, whether it went from first to second review, preliminary plat approval to CD submittal and so on. If there are any questions on any of the items, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions by the commissioners?
Any update on the construction on 44 in front of Oak Lake? I mean, they seem to be stuck in the mud big time.
I think it's due to weather, but I haven't gotten any kind of official notification.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All right, moving on to item number 9 on the report is on agenda is an engineering staff report. I don't see our engineering staff here tonight. Mr. Fournier, you're an engineer now.
No, Mr. Chairman, Sean Chirot just called me. He was stuck in traffic on I-10. They had a wreck, so he very likely will not be able to make it in time for the meeting. Right.
We'll catch him next month then. All right, item number 10 is a motion to approve or deny the minutes and written decisions of the February 13th, 2019 meeting. Motion by Mr. Chasson. Second. Second by Mr. Christie. All in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Item number 11 is the consent agenda. There's just one item on the consent agenda. 11A, the affidavit of mortgage declaration for Brady and Amber Madere. This is a 1-acre tract at 45206 Gold Place Road in Santa Maria, Louisiana. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Move.
Moved by Mr. Dumas, second by Mr. Chasson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Item number 12 is a public hearing to approve or deny the following family partitions. Item number 12A, the Ellen H. Waller et al. Property, lots 6A, 6B, and 6C, McLean Taylor.
Ellen Jackson with McLean Taylor Incorporated. Have no comments, and we're asking for your approval.
All right, well, staff, you have any comments on this family partition?
No, the petition meets elements of the code.
All right, we'll go ahead and open a public hearing on this matter. Ms. Stacy, has anyone signed up to speak?
No.
We'll close the public hearing on this. Any questions, comments, and/or motion by the commission?
I actually have a question. This looks like this was the Hudson Code, or one of the previous, was this a subdivision that we had about 2 years ago or something? Was this like
Yes.
normally? Okay.
Yes.
And it's just now being subdivided instead?
Yes,
Okay.
they did a simple division, and now they're doing family partition to get an additional 2 lots in the rear.
Okay. Motion approved.
Motion to approve by Mr. Scheckneider.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bishop. All in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Item number 12B is the Joe Ann P. DeLong property, lots 5A and 5B. Mr. Quinmall?
Good evening. Clint Quitmall, representing W.J. Quitmall Surveyors. Asking for planning commission approval. There was no comments on this particular project.
Yes, that's correct. There were no comments, and it meets the conditions of the
Go ahead
family
and
petition.
open a public hearing on this matter. Ms. Stacy, anyone signed up to speak? Close the public hearing. Any questions, comments, and/or motion by the commission? Moved by, to approve by Mr. Christie.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schexnayder. All in favor? Aye. Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion passes. Item number 12C is the Marcus J. Jackson property, lots C1A and C1B. Mr. Quintmont, you're up again.
Yes. Comments 1 and 2 have been addressed on the plat. And number 3, we're where we have to be removed on the structure before any permit is issued.
Staff?
Yes, all comments have been addressed, and it meets the requirements of the family petition.
All right, we'll go ahead and open a public hearing on this. Ms. Stacy, anyone signed up to speak?
Yes, Alan West.
Mr. West, please come forward.
I was concerned about the road running parallel with that property. Would he, Marcus Jackson, they using the road? Are you familiar with it?
No, sir,
Anybody?
not a fan.
No?
No, I'm not.
Can I show it on the,
Yes, sir.
whatever, how you turn this on or whatever?
You're talking along the east
Oh,
side of the
it's on there?
lots?
Okay, right here. Where? Yeah, you see the pencil. Okay, there's a 40-foot road, and I live here. And so he will be using this road. This is his property right here. Follow my pencil. And goes back up here, the one that you're talking about.
Yes, sir. He will be using that road.
Okay, so he gonna help maintain it? So far, I've been spending the money.
All owners that are along that use that street for access now will be required to sign the map in order to have it final approval for it. Since
Okay.
it was a dedicated private servitude of passage, all properties that use that passage for access will have to sign the map or do a pre-dial servitude agreement.
And that's a certain owners, percentage of ownership of the road to maintain it.
You actually will have to sign this plat.
Okay.
So if you want to talk to Mr. Marcus about that, absolutely.
As of now, he's not contributing to the cause, you know, like I say.
Well, what he's saying is, before it gets finalized, you have to sign off on that plat. And so you could talk to the landowner, Mr. Jackson, about coming to terms to maintain that servitude before you sign that plat, before it gets finally approved.
Yes.
Okay, and if he says he's not gonna contribute, then what's gonna happen?
Then you don't sign the plat and it doesn't get approved.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. So you have some bargaining power in that relationship.
Okay, that's why I'm here. Thank
All
you.
right.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, a question, the plat doesn't have, the plat only has Marcus Jackson signing it, so he will have to sign it since the
Yes,
road?
and we actually added it to the plat. If they
Okay.
want to bring this back up, if they choose to, but yes, it's on there.
All right.
And Mr. West, that's the sign right here.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right.
All right. Anybody else sign up to speak?
No.
All right, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing on that. Questions, comments?
Well, I guess the appropriate motion would be to say, to move it for approval with the amended one that was shown to us, because this one doesn't have those signature blocks.
All right, we have a motion to approve the amended plat that was shown to us on the overhead.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Dumas, second by
I have a
Mr.
question.
Chestnut. We have a question before we vote.
Would there be a contingency on this, on,
No.
there's no
No, because
contingency?
it's a legal
No,
requirement.
because even if we approve it, he has to sign it, and if he doesn't sign it, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Right, the code requires it, but the plat that we have in our, doesn't have those signature blocks, the one that was shown, that's why we referenced the one that's shown.
So they have to make a deal before he's going to sign that.
Actually, I do have one question now, because is the owner of Lot A1, Lillian Burns, does she need to sign it as well?
She also has a line on the map to be signed.
That's on the
as
one
well.
you just popped
Yes,
up
it
there?
is.
Okay.
It'd behoove them all to get together and work out how they're going to maintain the servitude.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And then everybody's kumbaya. And I would say get it in writing, so there's
Yes.
no doubt. All right, motion by Mr. Dumas, second by Mr. Chasson, all in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition, hearing none, motion passes. Then item 12D is the Mary Luquette property, lots B1, B2, C1, and C2. Mr. Falgout?
James Falgo, representing Earls and Associates and Luquette family and the following family partition, asking the commission for approval.
Stay.
Yes, the comment would need to be addressed about the owner signing the map, but other than that, all requirements have been met for the family petition.
All right. We'll go ahead and open a public hearing on this. Ms. Stacy, anyone signed up to speak? No one signed up. We'll close the public hearing. Questions, comments, and/or a motion by the commission.
So you have an amended plat that has all of these property owners that you said servitude?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to make a motion to approve the plat that has all of the owners referenced on it.
We got a motion by Mr. Dumas.
Hold on, I got a question. This looks like it backs up to Mr. Melanson's, that subdivision that we've been having, Melgrave, I think, is the one. Is this only accessible by water?
This property?
Yes.
No. It's all, this is access through Highway 22.
Okay.
No. There's a servitude that crosses the bridge and kind of touches the back of this, close to the back of this property, but they don't have access to that servitude.
James was just looking at the map. The servitude is through an existing pond, or?
They
they're
built the
not
pond
using
into they built the pond over the servitude.
So how are they crossing the servitude to access the property?
Well, they're gonna have to maybe close in the pond.
Okay, so they're not accessing it now?
They're not, no, the
Okay,
road
so
stops
something
right
they're
there,
gonna have
yeah.
to fix.
They're gonna
I
have to
got
fix
you.
it.
Understood.
No, my just question is that, like I said, if this is attaching itself to Melgrave, then that looks like it's a potential expansion. Is that something
Well,
that
no,
we
this
have to?
servitude, our servitude stops well before the end of the property line. Doesn't go all the way to that southern property line to touch the Melgrove's property.
Can I, has the motion been seconded?
No.
No.
Okay. I apologize, I didn't catch the pond issue, but I'd like to amend my motion that the plat should reflect a clear servitude that's not encumbered by a pond.
Okay.
So would have to have the signatures in the pond adjusted to not encroach into the servitude.
Right. We have an amended motion of approval by Mr. Dumas, second.
Is that that's a currently existing
It's an
pond?
existing servitude to an existing pond, so, I mean,
It's up to them to fix it, but, you know, that's a servitude, that's their access, and as long as the map, I mean, I think the map should be corrected not to show the pond, and that area would have to be filled, or they can come back and reroute it around something else. They'd have to abandon it anyway, so they'd have to reroute it.
Or they can fill in the pond. Which
Huh?
one? They could always fill in the pond.
They can always fill in the pond, that's true.
How deep is the pond?
I think what James is saying is that exists already as is.
Yeah.
So that's something that they're gonna have to handle before they.
so it's a civil matter anyway.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
Right, it's a
once you
civil
approve the
matter.
plat, I mean, they still have to, they're gonna deal with it before they can build back there. They gotta deal
Yeah,
with that.
I just don't want them showing up and saying, but you approved the pond there.
Well, it's,
So-
with the original division of the property, the servitude was existing, so, I mean, it's gonna be a civil matter more than a planning commission matter.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I just have
And
a
they could
strong
build a
concern
bridge.
that this is an extension, this is gonna eventually become an extension of Melgrave, of that subdivision that we've had issues with, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
If
So
you,
that's not.
if you look at
okay.
the
No.
western side of the property, there's the Severio Canal, top of Bank. Melgrave is to the west of this
Okay.
subdivision,
I just
and
wanted
there's
to
a
make sure.
canal that separates the
Yeah.
two.
Okay. Never mind then.
Yeah.
This isn't it here, because it's owned by Brady.
No, that could be, he could just own it, but that's not the thing.
Okay, so lot 1A is not Melgrave?
No, Melgrave's on, it's on Roger C. Road, off of Roger C., huh? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Julio's amended motion?
Mm-hmm.
I'll second Julio's amended
All
motion.
right, we have a motion by Mr. Dumas, second by Mr. Bishop. All in favor?
Aye.
signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right, item number 12E is the Linda G. Savoy property lots A2A1A and A2A1B. Mr. Falgood.
James Fraga, representing the Savoy property on the following family partition, asking the commission for approval.
There were no comments, and the subdivision meets the requirements of the family partition.
All right, we'll open a public hearing on this. Ms. Stacy, is anyone signed up to speak?
None.
We'll close the public hearing. Any questions, comments, and/or a motion by the commission?
So this lot that was filled in is gonna be a residence?
Possibly. Not as of right now. He, Mr. Savoy did the road home program. His old house got torn down. They built him a new house. So instead of having the whole house sitting on the whole tract of land, cut out the 1 acre for the tract, for the house. So it could potentially be, it probably will be. I mean, but the pond's been filled in.
Okay. That's all, that's all.
And the gas pumps are gonna stay there?
According to the client, the gas pumps have been pulled out.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments or a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Schexnayder,
Second.
second by Mr. Dumas. All in favor?
Aye.
Any in opposition? Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item number 13 on the agenda
Motion.
by Mr. Schexnayder. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming.